everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Aleasha Bahr, and this is Introverted Entrepreneur Success Stories. I'm a sales coach for introverts, and I craft custom sales strategy with you that allows you to sign up over 50% of the people you talk to without paying, pitching, or pretending to be somebody else. The idea for this show came from people like you who have the desire to be an entrepreneur, but might let being an introvert hold you back or make you think you're not cut out for it. So, we decided it could be helpful to interview introverted entrepreneurs about their journey, success, and how they feel about sales. Because we found that sales is an unavoidable part of entrepreneurship and often the reason introverts shy away from it. Joining us on the show today is Gina Suzanne. She's an operations and systems wizard. She helps overwhelmed visionaries get their time and freedom back through systems, processes, and teams. And I can confirm this because I work with Gina and she's absolutely incredible. So welcome to the show, Gina.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Thank you so much for having me and that wonderful intro. My goodness. I was like, who is she? Who is she?
Can't wait to meet.
Yeah, she sounds great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And as a fellow introvert, can attest to everything you have just said. So
yeah. And I love that you're here because you are an extroverted introvert, which is what I am too. So people often think that we're not introverts.
Yeah.
Because
they're always like, you're not an introvert. I'm like, see me after a networking event. I'm just like a raisin. I'm just
like so drained. So before starting a business, did you think being introverted would be an asset or not?
Okay, I definitely didn't think it was going to be an asset because I was always around entrepreneurs who were extroverted, or at least I thought they were extroverted. I guess the way people think we're extroverted, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought they had to be this on it all the time, you know, center of attention, this glowy bubble, which is like, I can do it, but it's very draining.
Yeah.
Like it takes out all my energy and that's not something I could continue. So it's like, I could never, you know, be this attractive character, they call it in the marketing world, because I'm just not attractive enough energy wise. So I thought, so like, I definitely did not think it was going to be an asset, like at all.
Yeah. But what do you think now?
Okay. Now, so I've been thinking about this. And not just because I got the questions in advance, but I was actually thinking about this. And just like people are attracted to different people, I think people are attracted to different entrepreneurs and attractive characters. So like, I am pretty real and authentic with like how I'm feeling and who I am, like probably too much so. But I think that attracts the people that I'm looking to. So like people who are also authentic and realistic. So I kind of just, I'm leaning into my strengths and my authenticity, and then it's attracting the people that I wanted anyway. So I'm kind of thinking it's a secret flex being an introvert.
I love that. And I just so totally agree. So a lot of people think they need to act differently, but if they do, like if you act like an extrovert or whatever, or don't represent yourself accurately, then you're going to attract people that you don't really like want to work with.
Right.
Because then you have to keep up the act working with them.
Yeah. And like, that's just not you at the end of the day. And like, doesn't feel good. And like, I'm trying to feel good, like at all times.
Yeah. And like you working with other introverts, they're not trying to like talk forever either because it drains them too. So y'all are efficient. And
I kind of like go back to like talking to my grandma on the phone, rest in peace, my mom. But like she didn't like to talk on the phone either. Neither did I. So our phone calls were very succinct and it like really worked for us. I mean, she's not a client, but I was going somewhere with that, but we lost it along the way.
Well, it was the same idea. So like, it's really cool to know. And this is what I try to tell people in sales all the time. Like, hey, if you're not like charming and bubbly, like not important. Nobody cares.
No.
Like, oh, you're not super smooth with everything you say. Doesn't matter. Like own who you are. And as long as you care about the person and the results you're getting them and you can get them results, like that's all anybody wants to feel when they want to buy something from somebody.
100%. So I used to run a podcasting company before I started this company. And one of the things I was always telling my clients was, you know, don't even worry about the editing and sounding perfect because the people can't relate to perfection anyway. So it's like, they want to hear the stumbles. Like my first ever interview wasn't you, by the way. It was, you were like the second. But the first one I ever did, like the dog was peeing on my leg as I was interviewing. And, like, I'm pretty sure you can find that episode on iTunes. And it's like got so many loyal fans who's like, wow, this chick like literally told us what was going on. Like I didn't pretend that I had my shit together because at that time I didn't, you know? And the same thing I tell my clients now. Like if you're starting a business, you always want to put in systems and processes that are like scale worthy, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So something that you can't, you know, if you're putting on, you know, promising your one-on-one time, like you can't scale your one-on-one time, right? Just like if you were pretending to be this extroverted, bubbly person, you can't scale that because like that's forever then. Like you're pigeonholing yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's like, let the extroverts attract who they attract, and then let us attract who we attract, and everybody's happy.
Yeah. And not to say that like you won't attract extroverts,
Right.
you know? So it's just like you're getting the right people and you're just being true to yourself. It sounds so cheesy, but like so true. So if you find yourself burnt out and exhausted, just like check in. Like, are you doing this for how people perceive you or for yourself? I always ask myself that question.
It's so true. And I think that a lot of times people are, when they're doing it for the reason, for the way somebody else perceives them, it's because they think that it matters, but like they don't care. Like everybody, first of all, only cares about themselves. Everyone's only thinking about themselves, which is hard for people sometimes in sales. They're like, they're going to think I'm annoying. And I'm like, nah, they're just thinking about themselves. But yeah, as an introvert, like you don't have to worry about them. Like, I forget where I was going with this, but basically like people will love you for the right people will love you for you. And you don't want the wrong
100%.
people to love you, basically.
Yeah, because then they're attracting them for the wrong reason. It's like if you it's like a dating app. Like if you filter your pictures hard, like you're attracting someone who wants that, and then you're showing up looking like this, and it's like you're not the same as a picture. It's like the same way. Like you can't keep up that act for that long.
No, and why would you? And that's a good barometer that you mentioned. If you feel burnt out, then you know that you're trying to live up to somebody else's expectations or what you assume their expectations are instead of just being real.
Yeah. And it works for you. Like you got to lean into what works for you.
Yeah, there's a guy who's like really serious that I work with, but you can tell that he really cares. And I'm like, who gives a shit that you're serious?
That's
like
all that
rock
matters.
it. Rock it. You are grounded. That is a real plus that people love. You have a very calm, stable energy that people like to be around. You know what you want. You can communicate it efficiently. Like those are all massive strengths. Like lean into that shit. Don't worry. Don't worry about the other stuff.
Yeah. Don't worry. They're not sitting on a Lambo flexing your Rolex.
Oh my God.
Models in the background. We don't like that anyway.
Not the right people. Yeah. Not the right people, in my opinion. Not the ones I want to work with. The ones that I want to work with, if you like that, like I don't want to work with you probably.
Probably won't work out.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you think that it influences you as an entrepreneur, being an introvert?
Good question. How does it influence me being an introvert? Okay, so I'm very conscious of my energies at all times, and not like in a woo-woo way where you're like turning off this interview, like please stay, but like conscious of my energies because like I don't know if the people watching this know about circadian rhythms, but it's like this natural energy peak that you have during the day of when you're most creative or most focused. And like, I'm really attuned to my own and how it changes throughout different like life experiences. And I always try to design my day around my energy because I know like I only have certain windows of hours where I'm at my best. So like right now we're at our best. This is it. Doing it better than this.
This is sparkling Gina. She's shining.
This is prime time. Okay, we have 40 minutes left and then I crash. Okay. So I mean, these peaks are gonna be different for you, but usually, you know, in the early mornings into the late morning, you're most focused. And then around lunchtime, you know, you have a little dip, and then, you know, late afternoon, most people have a peak, and then later in the afternoon, you shift again. So it goes up and down. So how it influences me is I'm very attuned to my energy, and I try to design my day and my clients' days around their energy peaks. So is it like, do I have housework to do? Okay, that's during afternoon slump time, you know, when I can't be like doing spreadsheets and mapping out systems and processes or engaging in inspiring teams. Like that is a morning job for me, or a late evening, 7 to 9. I meet up with my team again. So like I'm always designing my schedule around my efficiencies. That's
That
my answer. Do you
That
accept?
is a beautiful answer, and something that a lot of people getting into entrepreneurship are not even considering in any way, shape, or form. Especially as an introvert. Like, honestly, I didn't even know I was an introvert until like a few years ago. So I was pretending like, I mean, I knew, I guess, that I got tired after interacting with people and I could only
Yeah.
do so much, but not understanding like that there was a very clear correlation because of who I am, that's like a different level. And so I
Yeah.
can plan things better because of that. And the planning is what makes you able to more efficiently like reach whatever goal you're getting to, and also like not feel bad about it. Like you're just like, this is how I am and I totally understand myself and I know how to make it work. And so you feel very like confident in that clarity, as well as like more efficiently getting your stuff done.
100%. And like, you don't always have to be on. Like, I feel like if you didn't know you were an introvert, or like you're not sure and you're forced to be put in this extrovert's box, that it's like, oh, I can do meetings all day long and be on all day long, like that's so exhausting. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of you, and I know we got into entrepreneurship for this freedom, for this control over our lives. And it's like, you control that, like you have control over your schedule, so like map out around your peak times and like work with that, because like that's the whole point. You don't have to work in someone else's schedule. You're the boss.
Yeah. So Gina has a wonderful way of doing that. And that's one of the first things that she worked with me on. So she has this like time audit where you can really see when you're most efficient, which is so helpful to just being more productive in general.
Yeah. If anyone's not done time audit before, like go do one. Go track your time for 15-minute increments for a week or two. And then, call me.
And then, you know what's up.
Yeah.
So
We
what were
analyze a lot of things, but that's not the interview for this.
right. That's a whole nother, it could be a
A
whole
whole
nother.
nother interview.
Yeah. What were you most concerned about before becoming an entrepreneur?
Ooh, hot take. I was honestly, so I was very conservative with risk. So I grew up in like humble beginnings, and money was like the hugest thing. Like, oh, I gotta make money, gotta support my family. I don't have a family yet, but it's fine. So I went to engineering school because I was told doctor, lawyer, accountant, or engineer was the way to make money. So I was like, cool, like math, good at it? No. Love science, good at it? No. I'll be an engineer. Okay. Not great for me. Went through engineering school, suffered the whole time, did pass, but that's why I thought you could make money. And then I realized I was like so terribly unhappy. I wasn't, I always wanted to grow the company and come with ideas. And they're like, please just do your math.
We don't want your ideas. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we're like, we really brought you on for one reason. And it's like, we want you to be a monkey, like a worker monkey. And I was like, can't do it. So I left. And that was probably the scariest part, is like not having a firm income. But like once you're confident in yourself, it's like it's my duty. It's like on my heart to share what I know and what my strengths are. Like I have to share this with other entrepreneurs. So I'm like not as nervous anymore about like receiving a stable income. Plus like hashtag COVID, hashtag pandemic,
yeah.
no one's safe. So like being an entrepreneur is probably the most stable thing, because I am in control and I don't have to depend on anyone. But like side tangent.
Yeah.
Another thing, sorry, I'm going to keep talking forever.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. I was with a previous partner who was very extroverted, a very social butterfly-esque. And like he did so well. So I like looked up to him and I was like, I have to be like that. Like I felt like I was always in the shadows. So stepping out and doing my own thing, it was really self-conscious for me to be that attractive character when I was very comfortable being in the background. So that also was like a very scary, vulnerable part for me.
Yeah, but once you leaned into your strengths, like the fact that you don't have to pretend to be anything else is awesome. And like you can inspire other people who are like you to like be vocal and not pretend to be somebody else. Even if you're somebody who's like really serious and not funny, like there's a not serious, not funny person who's so happy that you don't feel like you have to be like that. And they want to listen to you and they want to be around you because you make them feel less alone. And so there's such a, like, it kind of goes back to a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do that because there's so many people doing that, but nobody does it like you and nobody does it with your voice. So it can be the difference of somebody actually like getting and having what you're saying click when they've heard it a million times from somebody else.
It's going to resonate with them.
Yeah, it's so valuable. And you made another good point. What was the first thing you said before you talked about the partner who was
Oh,
extroverted?
gotta scroll back into the thing. Financially stable.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
money.
how you know you're an entrepreneur is if you're working at a company and you're constantly trying to suggest improvements. If that's happening to you, you need to own your own business. And
Yeah.
I promise it's worth it because nobody in corporate ever wants to hear it because that means more work and they'd rather not.
I
So
literally didn't understand. I was like, I have all these great ideas. Like we could grow so fast, or like we could grow safely and like scale. And they're like, no.
they're like, I'm trying
Okay.
to get by and cover my ass. Thanks. Like bare minimum here. And you're raising the bar. And so you either need to pipe down or I'm going to have to remove you. So that is a good way to know if you're an entrepreneur. If you're listening to this and you're like not sure if you're one, that's a good way to know.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about sales, an unavoidable thing for any entrepreneur. How did you feel about sales before you became an entrepreneur?
Okay. It's terrifying. I thought you had to be one of the, you know what I think of when I think of sales? Like the guys in the phone shops, like Verizon or
Oh
like
yeah.
AT&T, and they're just like, I thought that was sales. Or I had like this ex-boyfriend who like sold Xerox machines like door to door, and I was like, oh, I don't know. He was like really, really good at it. But like I was like, I will kill myself. Like I would literally like could never like. I thought it was only cold calling, and then like even selling to my own audience. Like I don't want to have to convince you. Like I know what I teach is so good. Like I know my product is so good. Like I don't want to have to convince anyone. So like I kind of don't. It's just like here's how I help people, and it's like this is like the results I get. This is how I go about it. This is my thought process. But I'm also like super choosy on who I bring on because my energy, it always comes back to energy. Like I need to be working with people that are in the same like energy type as me
Yeah.
in the way that they care about their clients. Like I don't want just someone who
Same.
wants money. Like I want you to care because I often bring in like team members, and like I want you to treat the team members as well as you would treat your mother. Like so I'm like very conscious on who I work with. But anyway, what was the question? Sales, right.
So you felt like it was like gross and you were going to have to convince
So
people.
gross. And I like used a script the first time I did it. And okay, it actually worked though. But
Oh my God, no way. What kind of script
it
was
did.
it?
All right, do you want me to tell you a story? So I was on this call and I was selling a $2,000 intensive. Okay. And I was like using the script. And then I was like, and they're like, how much is that going to be? And I was like, $2,000. And then there was a pause. And the same time they said, oh, that's perfect. I said, but.
Oh no.
Because I couldn't stand the awkward silence. And he's like, oh, but what? I was like, but I'll do it for you for $1,500.
Oh no, Gina.
And then I hung up and I immediately barfed everywhere.
Oh my God. So Gina is like that introverted actually, that it makes her nauseous.
I get really stressed and I throw up a lot. But besides that, I've kind of gotten a little bit better with sales calls since.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's so important to just like talk to them about what's going on and if it's a fit. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I help people with this. This is how I would help you. Does that sound like it would be helpful? And that's pretty much it. You're not convincing anyone. You're just like communicating what you can do that solves their
And
situation.
also, like, if I can't help you, like, I'm going to tell you. Like, if you want strategy for Facebook ads, I will give you someone else who can help you so fast, but I will not try to like I obviously want to be like your best experience you've ever had. So I don't want to like show and like pretend that I can do something when I can't. So like I'm always upfront, like let me know your problems. Like, oh, this is how I help people with this. But like if you need something I can't do, then I'll be like, cool, let me refer you because like not my gig. And you don't have to have all the gigs,
People really appreciate when you don't lie to them and tell them that you can do everything. So like Gina and I had a situation with someone and I told her like, I don't even know if you need to hire me. And she was like, that is so honest. And like, nobody ever says that. And it made her want to work with me.
Yeah. And then I told her, I was like, this probably isn't like what I would do. Like we can do it. It's going to cost a ton of money, but like, I probably wouldn't go this route. I would go this cheaper route. And she was like, wow. thank you. I was like, I'm not here to nickel and dime you. I'm here to help you. Like, that's the point. That's why you're paying people to help you, right? Like,
Yeah.
it seems so obvious to us, but
I know. Well,
so many
after the
people
fact, like beforehand, you don't realize it though, like you were saying. So what has really made the difference for you in getting better at sales? Because honestly, Gina, every time you talk to somebody, like they want to buy and work with you.
I know. I'm having this problem where everyone wants me to work full time with them. And it's like kind of a nice problem to have, but like also I can't. So what has been the changing point? I don't know. I meditate a lot. I know that's like such a cop-out answer, but since I've started like meditating and like looking internally, wow, I sound so woo-woo, but like honestly, and I repeat affirmations daily, like out loud. And again,
Ooh.
very woo-woo, but it's really, words are so powerful and it's changing the way I think, which is like great because I wasn't always such a positive person.
Same. I've definitely struggled with that as well.
Yeah. And like, I mean, these people watching don't know, but like I've struggled with a lot of trauma in my life. So I definitely like wasn't like all sunshine and rainbows, still aren't. Wear black every day. But it's like I've come to the conclusion that like I need to share what I have. So I'm trying not to let sales get in the way, even though I am introverted. So instead of being someone else or following a script, I personally just go by gut and instinct. And I'm just like, if I can help you, this is how I help you. But I don't try to, convince or persuade in any way.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that it makes, oh God, wait, what did you say? Why do I keep forgetting what I'm going to say? I'm sorry. This makes me like,
forever.
this makes me endearing, right? Like that I am sharing how like
Yes.
stumped I actually.
This is a real interview. There's no like edits. Like, yeah.
It's mom brain. Okay. Like she was talking about, yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody wants to work with you full time. And,
Yeah. What a stupid flex, but yeah.
well, but it's true. It's because Gina cares.
Yeah.
She cares so much about the result. And it just goes to show that like, that's the thing that people care about most when they want to buy from somebody is that like you care about the result and you're going to do a kick-ass job to make it happen. And it's just rare to find. So if you're an entrepreneur or you think you want to be an entrepreneur, like that's all you need to be successful, really.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
I think confidence comes a lot into it. What?
I remember what I was going to say. So you were mentioning like, what you can share with everybody. And that's why you do sales, even though you hate it. So that can really like kick empathy in the right direction. Cause a lot of introverts are like very empathetic, empathy is a huge skill, like a strength in sales. But also they'll be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, you don't want to buy it. Like you don't have money. They get all like empathetic in the wrong way. But like what you're saying, like if you don't put yourself out there and you don't do sales and you don't like talk it through with them, then they're going to work with somebody who's better at talking it through and better at selling them and really bad at delivery. So you kind of like try to think of the other person if they don't work with you and what their life would look like. And it probably sucks.
Yeah. 100%. And I think like a lot of problems, like I once got a client just because the person who they were going to go with was so much more experienced than me, and had been doing this for like decades compared to, my experience of just a few years. And they're like, we just didn't know what the other woman did. Like she just couldn't, like, we know she's great. Like she's had this business forever. Like, but we just didn't know what we're going to get. But with you like laid it out, you had timelines, like you showed us what it was going to be like working with you. And it's like, we could see ourselves in that position. I was like, noted. So
yeah. So that lady sounds like she needs some sales help, honestly. She just needs to know how to communicate her services to
should I
somebody.
hook her up with you? Or is that like a bad idea because then she's my competitor? I'll hook her up with you.
Yeah, you have limited bandwidth. It sounds like you need to pass people off to this girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. What do you recommend to other introverts considering becoming entrepreneurs?
Community. Yes. Connecting with other people. I mean, I would say specifically other introverts and ambiverts like us or extroverted introverts. If only there was a Facebook group for it. Do you know anyone?
Yes.
I have actually please join Aleasha's group because it actually is amazing. And there's a lot of us in there. And it's just like, you can be your authentic self, but like ask questions that relate only to you. So you don't have to like be in like an entrepreneur group that's like full of extroverts and flashy, and like
Yeah.
these people are like actually down to earth. So we love that. And I like think it's a really safe space. But yeah, connecting with other people so you can grow from their experiences, because I mean, I've done this since I was a kid. I've always tried to ask like, what are your biggest mistakes and like, how can I learn from them? Because I just think like that'll save time. Like if you can tell me like what your advice is, that'd be great, you know?
Yeah, that's so asking questions, that's like two pieces of advice really. Like asking questions from people who have done it, huge, huge
Cute.
help. And people love sharing their experience. They want to help you. They'll be more invested in your
Yeah,
success. And then yeah, community entrepreneurship, especially if you're working from home, can be so lonely,
so
and
lonely.
like the mindset is so hard. And Shoe Dog is an amazing book if you haven't read it. It is Phil, I forget his last name, but he's the creator of Nike. And it's his
Oh,
whole like how he started it, which was basically super random, like cold calling on a Japanese like clothing company or some manufacturing company. Anyway, like he's on the edge of his seat for like at least a decade, not knowing if he's going to go broke or like be successful.
wow.
And so, like, stories like that, or people who've been there can really help you realize that you're not alone, you're normal, and things will be okay on the other side. So I love that you said community, and I totally agree.
So right, though, it really is. And then like if you're in a spot, like they'll bring you out. You know, it's like a lifeline too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for being here, Gina.
sure.
So appreciate it. Where can
Same there.
everyone find you?
Okay, I would love for people to connect with me on the Facebook. I'm just finding my username right now because okay, it's called The Real Gina Suzanne. So facebook.com/ The Real Gina Suzanne. So like shoot me a DM, let me know that you've, read this, listened to this interview. And like if you need any help at all, like I'm always game for just giving out free value, like no strings attached. So if you want to chat, you know where to find me.
And Gina knows a lot about a lot. Like systems and processes are what really something she's fantastic at, but she also knows so much about strategy and mindset and other really helpful things for starting in entrepreneurship.
And food. If you want to talk about food too, always game for that. Oh, and if you live in Austin, hit me up.
Oh yeah, she's moving, you guys.
Okay. I don't have any friends. So shameless plug.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope this was helpful for you, and we will see you on the next episode of
Thanks.
Introverted Entrepreneur Success Stories.